in was not programmed properly, and my engine was racing. I just took it into a mechanic this morning because the engine was running at high RPM, and right now it seems to be working as normal. So
that's
the
it.
original ECM, in other words, was better than the replacement part they put in. And the replacement part that they put in, they did not program correctly. Oh, there is one other little thing. I have to reinstall these two plastic bits here, just to show you that takes a few seconds. There we go. Snap, snap.
No special tools required. And that's the running part of the, not the running board.
All just little plastic bits that put in here. Really nothing.
And there you go. It's all done.
The job's completely done.
Thank you very much. We'll be sending this.
The elapsed time was actually about 8 minutes.
We'll be sending this to Ford head office.
Well, bottom line is, the Ford dealer in Squamish replaced the ECM completely unnecessarily. They would have realized their error when they finally put the new ECM in, and they discovered that in fact the fuel pump was faulty. When I picked the car up in Squamish, they said they'd replaced the ECM, that was necessary, that it had malfunctioned, and that I needed a new fuel pump, and the fuel pump and the ECM were unrelated, or that the fuel pump had burnt out, that somehow burnt out the ECM. Both of those things were completely imaginary. The fuel pump was the only fault with the car.
And when we first took it in...
I drove the car from Squamish to Vancouver. It failed again, and I had the fuel pump repaired at a total cost of about $450. And the car's running perfectly well now, particularly since I put the original ECM back in.
And when we originally had problems...
When I took the car... When it first broke down in Squamish, what in fact it was doing was I was at a gas pump and I just filled it up, and it would fire for a few cylinders worth and then diesel out, pop, and then not want to keep firing. And there is no way that a car will fire if the ECM was in fact burnt out or faulty. I told the dealer that when it was towed in there. I asked them to check the fuel line and the fuel pump, and they did that after they replaced the ECM, and in fact that was the fault.
Do you think they ever tested the fuel pump?
Oh, it's obvious that they didn't test the fuel pump before they replaced the ECM, or they would have seen the fault to begin with. And it's very simple procedure for them to test the fuel pump. They can run it, the engine was turning over, there was lots of battery, there's nothing wrong with the starter motor or anything, so they could have hooked tested the fuel pump and just run it, taken the valve. All they'd have to do is take a valve off at the bottom of the car. About a 5-minute job. It's like a little pressure valve in a bicycle tire. You just have to pop the little cover off, stick a little screwdriver up there, and see if the fuel was in fact spurting out. That's how you test if the fuel pump is under pressure. I'm not a mechanic. A mechanic just told me that today, and said that would have been the first thing that you'd test before you assume the ECM was no good. So the long and the short of this is that the dealer in Squamish completely ripped us off. Our costs were the cost of a new ECM, the installation, all the hours charged for it, the fact that we had to
rent a car.
We had to rent a car to go from Squamish back to Kelowna, because they claimed it would take a week to get a new ECM, or a week to 2 weeks. They said 10 working days, and
And we had to go back.
Then we had to go back to Squamish. We had to stay overnight in Squamish in a motel for 2 nights. Our cumulative cost, the cost just for the amount that the dealer charged us,
That might actually be inside. We might have to get that. But we'll attach all of that to
the dealer's invoice, if I remember, was about $1,800, $1,900 just for the dealer's work. So that was all bogus, completely unnecessary. Definitely our rental car was, I think, $250 plus the gas to make the 2-way trip, plus the staying in motels, plus the fact that we actually had to travel from Squamish here and back. Not just the gas, but the time involved. It's 5 hours driving each way. My cash out-of-pocket costs are probably $2,300 or $2,400, and at least 10 hours of time, 10 hours cumulatively of time making the trip both ways. I dare say my costs exceed, direct and indirect costs are $3,500 or more. I'll detail that in a statement of claim in a letter that I'm going to send to the Squamish dealer, and we'll see if they are honorable people and simply rebate my money. Thank you.